Started. How?
Hello, 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 hello. We are live. So we have got Arwin in the house. We've got Sleeping Warrior in the house.
Yo. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for not doing my early bird show today.
Yeah, I think you needed a smacked backside for that. So,
2 hour, 20-minute show yesterday. It was insane. Yeah, I was just drained a little and I needed a break.
you were saying before you was discussing something that you don't normally discuss, visions or something.
Yeah. No, I do discuss some of it, but I don't really like to delve into it too much because there's so much negativity involved. And then all the people out there that are fascinated by this are like, oh, tell me more about the creepy Satanists. Like, tell me the most gruesome thing you've ever seen. That I know that people, when they hear this shit, that's basically what they're secretly hoping I'm gonna do. And I don't want to do that shit. Because it is vile. I've been trying to escape from that. So no, none of these memories bring me any joy relating to all these crazy people.
What about you, Anthony?
Sorry, the phone was ringing. What about me? What was the question?
The question was, we're obviously going to be talking about this 132-mile observation. But I believe Conspiracy Cats released a video, apparently.
When?
Was it yesterday?
Oh. Yeah. I thought you meant he'd done one recently.
No, I don't think he'll ever want to revisit this subject again when we're finished with him.
We've got to just basically ram this observation down the throats because it's not possible on a sphere.
Do you think he debunked us?
Do I think what?
Do you think he debunked us?
No, I think he's manipulated. I think what he's done is he's took the focus away from the geometric curve and he's tried to put the focus elsewhere so that you can answer the question by avoiding answering. If we live on a ball, there is geometric curve. And that geometric curve is not present in the picture. That's the point he's not answered. And he has to lie about it. He has to lie about... He's lying by omission. That's what he's doing. He criticised you wrongly.
Oi, oi, oi.
Oi, oi.
Jose.
Hello, Jose. How are you?
Morning, guys. I'm pretty good. Thank you. Happy days, happy days. I'll be sitting in the background. If I got any questions, I'll chime in and I'll drop it there.
Cool, man.
Okay.
Yeah, he's lying by omission. He's failing to address the geometric curve against the mountain that we're seeing. And he's answering everything else, but he's criticising us, not answering the question. And it's not on. If we live on a ball, there is geometric curve. Over 132 miles. Let's just do it quickly.
Well, whilst you do that, I'm just going to put this out to the chat because I want them to understand how, when I was explaining it to you before, how we come up to a different radius with obviously the observation height and the height of the mountain. Now they don't want to go near the fact that this is like at 5,000 feet above sea level. They don't want to address that. So I'm going to put it another way. So in the chat, I would like, once I finish saying this, if you agree with me, press 1, and if you disagree with me, press 2. Dead easy. 1 for yes, it sounds plausible. 2 for no. So imagine if it started raining and it just rained, like biblically rained, like the Noah's flood. The sea level rose and it rose and it rose and it rose and it rose by 5,000 feet all around the world, right? So this gentleman's feet, this Nick Havoc who took this video, his feet are now on the shoreline, literally on the shoreline. The mountain that he's looking at is now 5,000 feet below. Part of it is 5,000 feet sunken in the water. So now we have a new relative height to the mountain that we're looking at. So that mountain has now changed in size. It has a prominence value. And his feet are on the shoreline. And it's all in circumference in a radius around the Earth. So when we're trying to portray this and say, okay, because it is a flat level surface where he's filming across over 5,000 feet, we can literally just say that is the new shoreline. So if we say it like that, it's been raining, his feet are now on the shoreline, he's looking at the mountain in the distance. Geometrically, he should not be able to see that mountain. By how many meters, Anthony? Over 1,000 meters? 1,000 meters beyond.
No, it's 3,540 meters.
Yeah, and yet it's only 2,600 odd meters high at this time. Its prominence value, because it's dropped as it's been raining, so to speak.
I've just put a question in chat. Anybody able to actually explain this mountain observation by actually telling the truth? Conspiracy Cats won't do this because he has to admit that the Earth's not a sphere if he does. He can't. He has to do everything else but deal with the point. And obviously, there's 3,500 meters, not feet, meters of curvature over 132 miles. Now, the problem is that needs to be addressed. It needs to be accounted for. And Conspiracy Cats has not done it, and he's attacked us instead. No, that's lying. That's cheating. Answer the question. There is 132 miles of curvature. That equates to 3,500 meters worth of a curvature over this distance. And that is based on the circumference of the given Earth. They're a mile above the given Earth, and the Earth rises to them all the way through. Now, I brought the Earth up. Now, if I bring the Earth up, he criticised me for doing it because whatever reason. But the fact is, all of that Earth is above him by a mile. It's above the center of the Earth. So in the real world, that real photograph, that real video that we do see represents the mile greater than everything else. So bringing the Earth up is absolutely right. But even so, let's just remember that if we make the Earth a little bit bigger, it flattens it out. It doesn't add more curve. It reduces the curve because it flattens it out, right?
Yeah.
So the reality is that 3,500 meters is based on the real size of the Earth, not the extra bit. If I change the size of the Earth and make it a little bit bigger, then that's still going to be negligibly bigger. Let's do it. 3540. Let's remember that. 3540. Metabunk curve calculator. 3540. Change the radius of the Earth to 60. And then distance in miles was 132. Viewer height 0. And then that gives us metric, the drop value, 3,541. It's virtually nothing. So it doesn't make any difference. Changing that by 1 mile makes no difference. But it does put the geometric curve into perspective. And I'm not accepting that I've got this wrong at all. It's quite the contrary. You guys have failed to address where the curve is. You haven't shown where the curve is relative to the mountain. It's not acceptable. If we live on a ball, that will be the one thing that you would be drumming down our throats. And rather than deal with that, you attack Ranty or you attack me. No, that's not acceptable. Are you guys honest or not? Is there anybody out there on the ball Earth side that can actually deal with this honestly and show the curve relative to the mountain? Because that's what we're supposed to live on. We're supposed to live on a curve. We're supposed to live on this gradient. So no one's done it yet. Why not? Why has Slice Barcane done the absolute opposite of what I asked him to do? Why is Conspiracy Cats attacked rather than defending the position? Why is it nobody can answer this question? We should not see that mountain if we live on a sphere. Nobody can answer it. Nobody has answered it. Why not?
And here's the other thing. I mean, we have actually asked in FE Core, does anybody or does everybody agree with the way we've put this formula together and how we've come up with the consensus that we have and the videos that we've put out? And every single one of them agrees that this is the correct way to do that. Right, so this is like just completely against what the only person that's done a video, Conspiracy Cats, and it's like I was saying to you before, Anthony, he sold his soul for clicks and cash.
Yeah.
And I've nicked that from Red Pill Philosophy, by the way, because that's the title of one of his recent videos. But essentially, that's what he's done. He sold his soul for clicks and cash. Because if he's being honest, this is not honest. If he was honest, he'd have held his hands up and said, you know what, I can't really answer that.
Well, he can answer it, and he has to do everything but answer it. if you look at his answer, right, his answer didn't address the question that was asked. The question that was asked is, how is it possible on a globe? And what his answer was Rancy's done this wrong, and his sidekick, Laurel and Hardy, has done that wrong. That's not answering the question. And he can't answer the question because if he does, he has to show where that curve is relative to the mountain, and we know that he can't do that. But all of his dumbasses basically don't see that. They just see the pretty bit that he presents. They don't realise the failings, the shortfalls. So basically, what else do we do? How do we force them to do this? And the only thing we can do is up the ante, because I don't know how else to get the message across that these guys are lying, dishonest, and deceiving people. And most of the ballers are too stupid to realise. Now, Slice Barcane hasn't even responded. He did respond, but he did it early on, and it didn't answer the question. So how else do we get these guys to respond, knowing that they can't respond? Knowing that they will not, cannot, and they just can't. They can't respond. How can we get them to do it? What do we do to force an answer out of them when we know that that mountain cannot be seen because of the geometric drop? How do we force their hand? What do we do?
Can I chime in for a second?
Sure.
Yeah. Let's dumb this down for a second, because I'm looking at this. I've been following and looking at these mountains and this observation, but I still don't get what the point is. Let's see if you guys get to explain to me in a scalable way. Let's say a 6-foot person is the observer high. I mean, a 6-foot person, and then let's put like sizes, like another person is the mountain. Let's put the 6-foot person is the mountain, another 6-foot person. Can we do this scalable, like with humans, different sizes, and what the issue is? I don't know if you understand my question.
Yeah, sure, yeah. If you give me a like 30 seconds, I'll just I'll put something up for you.
Awesome, yeah, thank you. And that's not just for me, because I will understand it better with a little illustration in a simplest way instead of these big numbers. Something scalable, smaller, and where the issue is, how can it work or not work in a flat versus globe Earth. That will give us a little better understanding to some of us.
Okay, are you looking at my screen right now, Jose?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so remind me, where's this observation taking place, Anthony?
Pikes Peak.
Pikes Peak, right. So this entire terrain of Pikes Peak has an elevation of roughly about 5,000 feet above sea level. So what I've done is I've just put a round circle in as representative of the Earth. Obviously, it's not to scale. And what I've done is I've put Nick Havoc is here. This is Nick Havoc. This is Pikes Peak in the distance, 132 miles away. And all of this terrain, including the total height of Pikes Peak above sea level, is at least 5,000 feet above sea level. So what's the height of Pikes Peak, Anthony? Is it 4,302? Can you get that in feet?
Yeah.
For me?
Pikes Peak in feet is well, do you mean the prominence or the elevation?
It's total elevation from 4,302.
Yeah, 4,302 in feet is 14,115. 14,115.
Why is that working like that? That's not very good.
Yeah. Looks
14,
extremely
115.
pixelated there.
It is. It's because I've been scaling it to a lot smaller. But let me put that up there, and I'll increase the height of it a bit. So 14,115. So that's its total height above sea level. Yeah. So if we put a little line in, Jose, you can see that.
Yes, I'm following. Yes, sir.
Okay, but 5,000 feet of that. So from there to there, 5,000 feet of it is all of this land, which is all above sea level. All that there is 5,000 feet. So part of this above sea level, part of this 14,115 is above sea level.
And it's a big part of it. It's a mile.
It's a mile, yeah. So let's say it's a 5,000. Let's roughly say 5,000 feet. Then we're down to 9,115 feet actually above this line. Above this line, yeah?
Yeah.
And we look over here, and when Nick took this observation, he, again, is 5,000 feet above sea level. Now, I'll tell you why they want to use the total height above sea level. It's because it works in their favor, but it's incorrect. Because what they're trying to do is say that when you're looking at the bottom of the mountain, they would have to look through the Earth. They would have to look through the Earth. This above sea level, all this terrain is visible in the imagery. So what they want to do is they want to say that to there is 14,115 feet, and this is his observer height.
Yeah.
Well, it's the wrong way to do it. You
I
can't
agree.
do it that way because everything is now above sea level by a certain amount.
Now, this isn't conjecture. This isn't opinion. This is hard fact, right? That way that they're doing it by applying that elevation height is wrong.
Yes, it is. What you have to do is you have to put Nick at 0 and give him, say, a 6 feet elevation. So his camera is 6 feet above sea level. That's essentially the fairest way to do it. And then you have to apply 6 feet. So his observation point is 6 feet. Yeah, that's where he's actually at. And this 9,115 is what he can actually view. He can't view 5,000 feet of it because it's below his feet and it's hidden behind the terrain. He can't see that. He can't physically see it.
And obviously, if you were to get the hidden value, once you put in your figures from there, right, your hidden value would be swallowed up by the elevation of the land he's on. The hidden bit would include the bit he's already on land-wise. So obviously, that's useless to you.
Well, all he can really see is 9,115 feet. That's all he can see. He can't see through the Earth. He can't see through the Earth because the Earth is a solid landmass between him and what he can actually see of it. So when we do the curve calcs on that, what can you tell me what the curve calcs are on that, please, Anthony? So we're looking at a 6 feet observation over 132 miles.
Yeah, I gave you the number before. It was whatever that big number was. Hang on.
6 feet over 132.
I'll have to put the Earth size back down by that mile. So 132 miles, 6 feet.
6 feet.
Do you want it in feet or meters?
Can you do it in feet, please? Because I've got it in feet here.
Right. So the drop value. Do you want the drop or the hidden?
The hidden.
Refracted or not?
Not.
Hidden, right. So it's 11,093.
So 11,093 feet is hidden of the mountain when you do it correctly. Yeah. So as he can only physically see this part of the mountain, he can only see that. That's it. But yeah, 11,000 feet should be missing, and you can only see 9,000 feet of it. So it should be gone. It should be down here. It should be beneath this curve. It should be there. You know,
nothing should be seen. Okay, all right.
Nothing should be seen of it. No.
And the reason is, if we live on a curve, it's that far away, and the bit that he sees at the top, the prominence, is that small that it's gone. It's literally gone. Now the problem is, these guys will not deal with this geometric curve part. They will try and attack us and say, "You don't know what you're talking about. You've done this. You've done that. That's wrong. This, that, the other." I don't care. I want you to deal specifically with the point that's being made, the geometric curve against that mountain, and show your workings out. That's what I asked Sly to do, and I asked him specifically not to model it, and he modeled it, and I can't check that. I wanted him to do a side elevation profile like what we're trying to do now, and he didn't do that either. Conspiracy Cats basically didn't answer the question. He attacked us instead. That's not what we want. And what's his name? Red's Rhetoric's not even responded. That's fine. He's too posh to wash. We get that. But it doesn't change the fact that this mountain cannot be seen on a sphere because it's fallen into the curve.
And another way that I was saying it before was if it rained, let's suppose, and we had some kind of biblical flood, for instance, that artificially, so all this red that I'm putting in now is an increase in height of the water above the world, you know, all around the world. So it's flooded the entire world, yeah? We now have a new radius to the Earth, because if you're on a mountain, you would now have a new radius. You know, because this would be the seas and the oceans going around the world.
But you do realise we can change the radius in Metabunk, right?
Right, okay. But what I'm saying is this is still the same point that I was making before. So if you've increased the radius of the Earth by, let's say it's just all rained, and we know that all this land is essentially the same height as where his feet are. Now what we have is we have Nick standing on the shoreline, yeah, looking across 132 miles to this prominence of this mountain, which is only 9,000 feet, and yet 11,000 feet should be beyond the curve. That's another way of saying it.
Yeah, and in either one of the situations, the mountain should not be seen. I mean, so
no,
yeah, well.
No.
Ranty, let me have a go of screen sharing.
Yeah, sure.
What I'll do is just don't present to everybody just yet.
No, I won't.
Stick it on now.
All right.
Jose, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so this is the best that I can get it, but I think this is clear enough. We've got the sea level down at the bottom, and the mountain, the big triangle, is the whole height of the mountain. And according to Google, it's or Wikipedia, it's 4,302 meters high. That's from sea level right the way up to the top. That's what it claims to be.
Okay.
But the observer isn't at sea level. The observer is roughly 1,634 meters above the sea level, according to Google. If you look on Google Earth and put his figure, it tells you he's roughly that distance away or that distance high. That's a mile. It's a mile bigger. Now, if we look on the actual picture, if I can get the image up quickly, Nick Havoc. I'll have to go. Hang on a sec. Nick Havoc. I had it open before, but I'm not sure where it was. Nick Havoc. Right, in his actual picture or in his video, so we've got that one.
What's up, y'all?
What we see in this picture when he gets this car open. There we go. There. Play. So what we see here when he zooms in now, we actually see, look at all the land that is all at his feet level. All of this land is physically there, and he's a mile above the sea level. All of that land is a mile above sea level. Now, I got criticised heavily. Huh?
Oh, okay, I see, yeah.
I got criticised heavily by conspiracy flaps for not for bringing the land up. But the fact is, the guy stood here where and all of the land that's on this orange line is what we see in the picture. So all of that land is 1 mile bigger than the rest of the normal size of the shape of the Earth. He is 1 mile greater than the radius of the Earth. So there you can bring the land up. And I think the land being up is better because it preserves his height, because it keeps him that distance away from the center of the so-called sphere Earth. It keeps him there. And it also keeps in proportion the tippy tops that he see. He doesn't see the whole mountain because, like Ranty said, you can't look through the Earth and see the base. He's not seeing that. So I think it is right to bring the land up because in this instance, he is a mile greater. He is a mile further away from the center of the Earth than everybody else is. So what we can do, if I go back to my other window, which should be this one. Got far too many windows.
He's not standing in the shore, in the water, yeah, he's a mile higher, with land. I hear you, I understand that.
That's right. So I think what I'll have to do is Metabunk curve calculator, right? So if I zoom in on this and make this a bit bigger, right? What we can do here, I'll start this again. I don't need to. Right. Okay. So in the advanced tab, we come out of the advanced tab, we click the advanced button, and you can change the planet radius. So we'll do it back into miles. Now it comes up as default as 39.59. That's the default value, right? But if you put that to 60. That brings the Earth back up to a mile. That's the distance that he is above the radius for everybody else. The distance in miles is 32. Give him a viewer height of a generous 6 feet. Problem is, then it gives you this. It gives you this. The drop value there is 1,000. I have to do this in meters. The drop value then is 3,541 meters. Right. That is a correct representation of the maths involved in him. So in this location, the amount of curve that this mountain has got to drop behind is 3,541, right? So 3,541, let me try and draw this in quick and then make this a bit bigger. That means as the Earth curves away, this value here would then be 3,541. But the problem is we're only seeing 1,690 at most. So it's 3 times taller than the height of the mountain that we see in the actual picture. So because that curvature is 3 times taller, when he sees this mountain here, that mountain there should be 3 times lower in the picture than what it actually is, because he can't see it because of the curve, the geometric curve, right? You can't get past it. So what conspiracy cats and what Sly Sparkane have got to do, and Red's Rhetoric, and any other dumbass that thinks that we live on a sphere has got to do, they've got to address how it's possible that this curvature value of 3,500 meters relates to the prominence that we see, because we are only seeing the prominence. We're not seeing it down to sea level. Like Ranty said, you can't see through the ground. We're only seeing the top part above the water, above the land. So whatever the prominence value is, it's around about 1,600 meters. but the curvature alone is 3,500 meters, so it's 3 times bigger. That thing should be completely gone.
It's it's all looming. It's just terrestrial refraction, R.
So that's all we're seeing there. That little triangle there that is on a flat plane should be down here somewhere, and we shouldn't see any of it. So again, we go back to the point, and I'll say it again. This mountain cannot be seen on a sphere. Now, what I want the ballers to do is specifically address the geometric value of the curve of the Earth being a mile above the sea on this mountain at 132 miles. Address the relative curve to the mountain that we see, and that you will all see that mountain cannot exist on a sphere. It's gone behind the curve of the Earth 3 times over. Well, 2 and a bit. It's not quite 3. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I'm making the point. And they can't answer it. They will not and cannot answer it because it proves that it's not a sphere.
Riley, that only works if you presuppose that what you're looking at is there because you can see it.
Well,
who did this observation originally?
Yeah,
Was it Conspiracy Cat?
But that's a very logical assumption, though.
No, it's a new flat Earth guy called Nick Havoc.
Okay. So they are grabbing the Nick Havoc footage and they are just throwing it as a flat Earth killer or globe proof or whatever.
No, what they're doing is obfuscating it by not addressing the point. They're ignoring the point. The point is there is a geometric curve of the Earth, and over 132 miles, that is a lot of accumulated curve. The prominence that we see in the evidence is gone behind the curve of the Earth. It cannot be seen if we live on a sphere. Now, they're attacking Ranty from different angles to try and discredit us. Doesn't change the fact that the mountain can't be explained.
Well, the best way to
specifically the curve against the mountain we see and show how it can be done geometrically.
But it is so obvious. Look, as long as the air clarity is good enough on a ball, everyone, when looking straight ahead, looking level, eye level, looking straight ahead, they should be looking at a big block of air, no matter where they look, unless they stand right in front of a building or a mountain. But as long as you can see in the distance, then looking level should be looking at a giant block of air and a horizon border basically underneath it. Because looking straight ahead is looking straight into the open, into the air.
So if there's anybody that can explain this, please join the panel, right? Because none of you guys can explain this. You can't show the relative curve against the relative height of that mountain. None of you can do it because it proves that the Earth's not a sphere, and no one will do it. All you'll do is attack us with ad hoc nonsense that's off topic and designed to obfuscate. And all these ballers know it. That's why Sly's probably not responded. That's why Conspiracy Cat hasn't answered the question. That's why he's attacked us with ad hoc nonsense anyway. Well, come and answer the actual geometric question of the relative geometry against that mountain, and then you will all prove to yourselves and everybody else that watches, you will prove that the Earth cannot be a sphere the size they tell us. Might not be flat, but it's definitely not a sphere the size they tell us, and that mountain in existence in that picture proves it.
So this is it. Let me explain it in a very rustic way. So there's a 6-foot person looking, right, and then ahead of him there's a 4-foot person. It's a solid line of 4-foot person all the way along, and then at the end it's a 20-foot high piece of wood with a nail in the bottom, right? But underneath that 6-foot person is a 4-foot person blocking the bottom of that piece of wood. He wants us to see that nail in the bottom of the piece of wood when the 4-foot person is blocking it. So that's why they are saying, they are thinking that this person is 1 mile away and we should be able to see the bottom of the other mountain, neglecting and taking away the 1 mile high of earth that is blocking the bottom of the mountain physically.
Yeah, they want to put his elevation at 1,600 meters. That's what they want to do. Even though his feet are on the floor and the area of land that he's looking across is the same height as him, they want to place him 1,600 feet above. Right?
No, that's not quite right. They want to use the mountain, the whole elevation of the mountain, to apply the curve against. That's what they want to do.
Exactly, yeah. An elevation of 1,600 meters, and they want to give him the total elevation above sea level of the mountain. That's what they want.
That's bullshit.
And it's completely the wrong way to do it. I'll give you an example. If you have a football, and you know those plasticine strips, like the thin plasticine strips that you get, like chewing gum strips. So imagine if you just pushed a couple of them around the football, just on a little area, right? That would raise the height of or the circumference of the football, and he's on top of the plasticine. He's not at ground level. He's not at sea level. He's 1,600 meters above the sea level. Just wrong.
So, how do we up the ante? What do we do to get the attention of these ballers to answer this question?
Well, the ballers, they won't answer truthfully in any respect, any shape or form. And I'm going to say, what was it? Red Pill Philosophy. He sold his soul for clicks and cash.
Yeah, that's conspiracy cats.
That's conspiracy cats. That's exactly what he's done.
Guys, and especially Ranty, I have a challenge for you. Although this time of year may not be the best time to do it, what I want to see is you filming the horizon and the sea as you have before, but during the nighttime when it's really clear and the stars are out. And it would probably work best when there's a full moon, because then you'll have some light of that moon to actually pick out where the horizon is in the middle of the black night. And I want to see if you can actually keep your camera steady on that horizon and the miraging zone, and see if you can see some kind of reflection of the stars over time in the miraging zone. Do you think you could try that sometime, Ranty? Probably better in the summer when it's not as cold at night.
Well, we've just missed the full moon, so
it's way too cold in the night to stand around for like an hour or two with this weather. So, but
what is the question, Arwin?
No, it's not a question. It's a challenge. What I want to see is the heavenly bodies reflected, except for the sun, because but especially the stars, or maybe let's say the morning star, which is a phenomenon by itself. I want to see that reflected in the miraging zone at the horizon. Want to see if that happens. Want to see if in a time-lapse piece of footage you can actually see it reflect, that the pathway of the apparent lights in the sky are reflected in the miraging zone. I want to see if that is real, if that happens.
I mean, you could try it,
but I don't have a camera. I just have my webcam. So, but if people help me get a P900, which is fine for me, then you will bet I will try it. I will try it right here on the roof, where I have a pretty okay lookout.
So what you want to see, Arwin, is more documentation on how the stars behave as the time lapse, for example, how they behave before they hit the horizon. In that little band, closer to the horizon line. To see if there's any reflection or something.
There is the celestial refraction. There's talk of that, how the stars kind of slow down as they approach the horizon. Well, that's something separate. I just want to see the visual effects of the stars in the miraging zone. See if that will be visible, if you will see it reflected. And that will be another hint that there really is this miraging zone and how it reflects, that it literally is like a virtual mirror just forming there due to the viewing angle, that it naturally forms as a part of perspective. And the reflection of the stars, and especially over time as they move across the heavens, if that movement is reflected very accurately in the mirage, then there is direct proof of the nature of the mirage. Again, we already have some nature. Look, when boats are at the horizon, then you see the bottom of it being reflected or compressed or all that. So, but with the stars, that's just another step, because we know the exact pathway of the stars. This is just universally known. And yeah, if they would reflect as I think they would, that would be very clear-cut proof, basically, of the reflective nature of the miraging zone at the horizon. So I'm just very curious to see this. If I got a camera before the summer starts, I will try it out myself, definitely.
How close are you to the coast to do that?
I'm in the Netherlands. Everywhere is close to the coast, pretty much. Now it's
Yeah, I'm not. I can't. I bow out of that one.
less than an hour travel by train, and I can get to like the coast of the Netherlands without a problem. So
How far can you normally see? Would
Me?
you say? Yeah. We know the
Oh.
Netherlands is flat though.
it depends on the clarity of the day, and of course, this is the Netherlands, and everything is already pretty much flat, and it's moist. So,
Are we done now?
fireworks.
That was a firework.
Yeah, they do that all, like, pretty much in December or even October. Or November. It starts up, and they just throw it. Kids with fireworks.
Yeah. So can we get back onto this attacking the ballers thing now?
Yeah.
So how do we get these ballers to respond specifically to the question? Because they're obviously not going to answer it because it proves that the ball can't be real. So how do we get it? If we ask the question and they're just going to ignore it, what do we need to do? How do we get them to actually either answer it or, well, they're not going to be able to answer it because it proves that we don't live on a ball. So what do we do?
I think they're gonna have to do this observation of do these numbers, plug them all over again. Start with the observer high. How high is he from the water level? What is the landscape from observer to observation point?
Yeah,
They
but-
have to add all that information in between because that's what they are neglecting.
Jose.
They are taking that away.
Jose,
And
if they
then
do that,
plug in the numbers.
If they do that, Jose, it proves that we don't live on a sphere, right? So they're never going to do it.
Yeah.
The question is, how do we make them do it and admit that this is just not possible on a sphere?
You're gonna have to keep poking. Yeah,
What
you
we'll
know
have to do-
Splice Parking quite well, don't you?
What we'll have to do is take it to them because they're clearly not going to come in Nathan's, are they? They're clearly not going to join Nathan's chat because they know what will happen. So we'll have to go to them with it and just say, prove it. Prove how this is possible.
So this is a quicker analogy what they're doing. If I'm in point A, I want to go to point B, and it's 20 miles away, right? And then I plug one stamp where I am, and then I throw a direct line. I say it's 20 miles away, right? So it's a straight line. But in reality, I have to take turns and twists because I got to take a left in this lane. I'm not going to be flying with a helicopter. I'm driving with a car, you know? That's what they're neglecting. They're throwing a direct line, whatever they want to see, and they're just taking away everything that happens in between. They got to take left and right, you know? It's different thing, but the same thing. They're just freaking forgetting everything in between. If I want to take a trip on car, I'm not going to plug in the numbers for a helicopter ride, you know? That's what they're doing.
So I'm messaging Sly Spark A now. Hey, Sly, when you next live, I'd like a link. I have a bone to pick with you. Yeah, the problem is, I have a Pikes Peak. The problem is they're not even going to want to let us on the panel. We're going to have to take the fight to them. That's the only way I can see it. If we go in their chats and we start demanding that we get on the panel so we can deal with this, they're not going to even let us in. So that's the only way we can do it. Anytime we see ballers online and they're all live streaming, we need to go in the chat, demand a link, and let's get on these panels. They're not going to let us in because they're not going to want to address it. They're not going to want to show how this is possible on a sphere because they've got to show that geometric curve of 3,000 meters and they've got to apply it to a mountain that's only 1,400 meters that's gone behind the curve by some way. So this is embarrassing for them. This literally proves that we don't live on a sphere. So I'm looking forward to how this is going to play out in the next few weeks. They're all a bunch of liars.
To be fair, all the observations that we do shouldn't be seen on a sphere. You know, we have to believe this nonsense that
this is miles out though. This is not like, it's not borderline with a bit of refraction. No amount of refraction is going to bring this back.
True.
Real refraction is negligible.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway. It's 0.01 or 25% deviation. So yeah, it's completely negligible. Actual, real, measurable refraction within a same medium scenario. So, and all this terrestrial refraction is a pure mathematical invention. It's not something you can actually find in the nature of optics at all. It is a complete invention. So, hold on.
So
yeah, as Nathan says, we don't need any excuses for seeing this. And all they have to do is just apply the right mathematics. That's it. Just apply the correct mathematics.
I don't think they can get the right mathematics though, because what they'll do is they'll demand that their maths is right and they'll demand that ours is wrong, and they'll try and ridicule us. But at the end of the day, there's 3,000 meters of curvature there for a mountain that's only 1,400 meters or whatever it was. Let's go back to the figures. 1,600 meters. So there's 3,000 meters against 1,600 meters. That's a lot. You're not going to get that back with a little bit of refraction. So they need to explain this, because this is nonsense. This proves that the Earth cannot be a sphere. Certainly not a sphere the size they tell us.
Well, think of all the places in the world that are recognized as being flat. We've got Holland. You know, Arwin lives in Holland. That's an entire country that's essentially flat as a pancake.
Florida.
It's a giant riverbed. It's all just it's land formed by riverbed.
The Abyssal Plains, the Utah Salt Flats. There's loads. The 5 top flat American states that were flatter than Kansas.
Dude, Texas is, I don't know how many 100 miles across, and I think it's 150 miles only difference from one seaside to the other. 150 feet of difference from one end to the other. Over hundreds of miles, that's impossible. Texas is freaking flat, bro.
What I might have to do here is I might have to actually subscribe to the likes of Sly and Reds and all those morons, so that when I see them going live, I can jump on and say, "Hey, give me a link. I want to come
in." Pete Shea with his Aristarchus. Did you send me a link to have a look at a video about that in the FE Core chat on Skype?
Oh, you talk to me?
Yeah.
Did I send you a link about what?
Well, I watched a video that you posted, essentially saying that there's a crater on the moon. You must know the video I'm talking about, where he's looking at his own reflection in a mirror.
No, I'm not familiar. Is this a video that you've seen on my channel recently?
This is a video that you posted about 3 days ago.
In FE Core?
In FE Core, yeah.
Yeah, I know the video you're on about. What about it?
I thought that made pretty good sense.
I agree. Basically, the guy's saying, he's suggesting the possibility that we might be looking back on ourselves. The moon is actually a mirror of us. We are, imagine, you know, like when you go, it's like Arwin said, when you go high enough, you wouldn't actually see anything because it'd all be blurred out because of the resolution. Well, it's the same kind of thing. That what he's saying is that the moon could actually be a reflection of us ourselves, and we're looking back on ourselves. And every time we look at the moon, we're seeing us. And I tend to agree that is logical and reasonable to think that it's possible, because we clearly don't live in a heliocentric model where we're orbiting the sun and spinning every day. That's nonsense. You've got to be stupid if you think that that's true. So the question is, well, what is the moon? And for me, I always look at the moon and wonder whether someone's looking back at us thinking, what's that odd-looking planet? And it's actually us that we're reflecting off. We're reflecting off something that's spinning over us, and it's us that we're seeing.
Yeah, it's quite possible. I have to agree, but he did say that it would need 2 suns for that.
Well, we can't. There's only so much of the sky we can see at any one time.
Is this the right moment to
Hey.
shout out Aristarchus?
All right. Hey guys, I'm gonna go soon. My dad's coming to pick me up.
Okay, Arwen, no worries.
So thanks for having me over here, and have a good evening.
No problem.
Happy
Where are
days,
you off to?
Arwen.
Catch you
I'll
in a
be
bit,
back
Arwen.
tomorrow with Flat Earth Early Bird number 47 for real this time.
I don't know what's going on with Nathan. He seems to have vanished.
No, he's just having Christmas with his family. He has a
Yeah, that
life,
was yesterday. Back to work, Nathan. Come on.
Is he slacking?
Yeah. Taking privileges.
All right. Hey, see you guys later.
See you guys later. So, Jose, have you done any more filming recently?
Yeah.
No, not really. The last one that I presented those pictures on the debate, and I uploaded one of the raw videos on my channel a few days ago. But I haven't been back. It's been really foggy and hazy, so it's not the right condition to do observations. I got like maybe a 10-mile visibility, so I'm not gonna get much.
Yeah, it was really foggy here today as well, actually. I mean, we were struggling to see 50 meters down the road. It was that bad.
Yeah, and I woke up really early today to check on the moon, just to take a little bit of video, and nothing. I could see maybe a little brightness in between the clouds, so there was not even a moon visible today.
Just Jack Flat Earth has asked, whose video were you sharing of the moon being reflected of Earth? Anthony, you might have the...
I'll have to go and look it up. Give me a minute.
Yeah, sure. No worries. It was certainly very interesting, I have to agree.
I thought it was ace, to be honest.
Was this Piche? Because Piche has been going about this for a while now.
Pete Shea makes points but never explains them. So, I mean, he could talk about dog turd, right? And I wouldn't know what he's on about unless he described it. I mean, we all know what dog turd is, but unless you describe what dog turd is to somebody that doesn't know what dog turd is, you're not going to understand his point. And he never explains anything. He says we all should know about Aristarchus. Well, what should we know about Aristarchus to know it? You can't just say Aristarchus and then not explain it.
It's like he's just put a comment in the chat now, and you know, I have to admit, I do think Pete has some interesting ideas, but when he puts things like the moon equals reflection of the sun equals reflection of Polaris equals reflection of Aristarchus, one ring to bind them all. I mean, it's like he puts so much effort into trying to put everything in to just one, you know, comment that it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't.
Yeah, I agree. He's so vague and remote that it makes no sense.
Yeah, I think Joseph just hit it spot on there that Pete does need to make a concise video. You know, I mean, you know, I've seen Pete live and I've heard him singing, and he's interesting to watch. But if he was to actually do a dedicated video about this and talk about it and explain what he's going on about, you know, probably he'd get a lot more people that, you know, listening into what he's saying, because I don't understand what he's saying.
A month ago, he used to put, when he came across this, I mean, I'm just going to do my point of view. The first time I seen Piche talking about this months and months ago, about the reflection of the moon and Aristarchus and all this, he did like 3 or 4 hour hangouts, 3 and 4 hours hangouts, explaining all this, but then he throw a little line, a little circle, and then he talks for an hour. And then he throw this little other line and this little doodle in the freaking clipboard, and then he talked for another hour. So he got to make a little concise video on what the real, to visualize it, you know, well and solid, you know, in explanation. It's too convoluted to understand, too philosophical.
Right. So the guy that was asking for the link for the moon possibly being a reflection of itself, of us rather. I'm just going to spam it in the public chat now a couple of times. So
Okay.
there is the video that you requested, sir. Not saying it's true, just saying it's definitely worth considering. Liverpool are playing in 10 minutes. Woohoo!
So, what's the name of the channel? Let's give a quick shout out to the channel. Anthony.
Oh. Open link in new window. It's by Godge Eval. I can't even pronounce that. Goj Vlamsky. Goj Vlamsky? I have no idea what that says or means. He doesn't
God
sound.
Kevlamast or something.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's a foreign dude, but he does speak pretty good English.
Yeah. And he models it out as well, and he shows what would happen if. It's very interesting, actually. I enjoyed watching it because it was like, it's just interesting. It's just a totally different perspective of what we're looking at.
Well, Pete Shea's on board. He says he agrees that he has loads of has loads of videos I should make to explain it more concisely. Yes, you do, Pete.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, one thing is the personal issues that happen in the flat debate and all these accusations and all this bullshit. But if you have something, some kind of evidence to prove that you think is a solid one to be presented that everybody should know, you should make it concise and in a serious matter, And yeah, we'll consider it. Everything is possible here, brother.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. I don't think you've seen this this particular video, Anthony, because I've only just filmed it on Christmas Eve.
Them links don't work on an iPad anyway.
No, they do work. Anthony, tell me if you can see my screen.
Yes.
So I'm going to upload this video later. I'm actually uploading another video in the meantime. But you see this entire boat?
Yeah.
Would you believe that all of it was hidden behind an inferior Mirage and never saw it? I didn't see it until I actually went to the top of the water, top of the ramp, and I saw the boat, and I was like, where the bloody hell did that go? Because I was doing a time lapse of these buildings over here as the tide came in. I was doing a time lapse of it. And at some point, this boat sneaked in front of my line of sight whilst I was filming these, and I never saw it. The entire boat, honestly, never seen. Can you believe that an inferior Mirage did that?
But look how thick it's like right in the middle, right splitting in between the boat.
Yep. Now, this boat can only be about 9 miles away.
Well, I'll tell you, do you remember, think back to that day when me and you went to do an observation across the estuary.
Yep.
And I was in Fleetwood, I think it was, and you were on the other, or I've been on the south side.
You went to Barrow, didn't you? And
I looked back to you, and you were looking at me, and you could see a boat on the horizon that I couldn't even see.
Yep.
There was no boat for me. And so we're looking, Ranty can see me, but I couldn't see him.
That's right.
And there was no boat for me. Ranty's saying there's a boat on the horizon, and I'm like, there's no boat. Couldn't see it. It was only about 6 miles away from me, but I just couldn't see it.
And
wow, you guys were in the opposite sides?
Yeah, looking at each other. Ranty could see me, but I couldn't see him.
And guess what? That's the boat there.
Oh, that's definitely the curve of the earth, that, Ranty.
That's the boat. It's almost gone. It's completely gone. Well,
where's the rest of the boat, Ranty? Yeah, any obstructions curve, isn't it, boys and girls?
Well, I'll just show you where the tripod is. So I've set the tripod on about the 6th step up. Now, I'd been filming a time lapse and I'd been on this step down here, this second one up. So the camera was very low down. When I first started filming, it was at about 12 foot. And by the time that I finished the filming, I would say I was around about 4 feet above actual sea level. So it rose up like 8 feet. But I didn't actually go down to this step because I didn't have my tripod. I didn't have it on the tripod. I'd taken it off because I'd finished my filming. So I ran down and I just sort of like, okay, let's see if I can see it from here. And you can see that it's all blended out. It's inside the inferior Mirage. You're just seeing the very top of it there. Just seeing the very top of it. I mean, it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And I've filmed this all year round where the ferries have left the harbour and come back in, and you can see them very easily. You know, you don't get any of this distortion. There's where the buildings of Barrow should be. But
You see
today was
the
crazy.
land in the left, the nose cone, like the airplane nose
Yes.
effect right in the left on the land. Yeah, you see the Mirage big time there.
Yeah, here. Well, I'm actually uploading this video, this time-lapse video. It's very boring. It's literally like 50 minutes just filming as the tide comes in. And you see this inferior Mirage all the way through it. And it goes up and it goes up and it starts to wash out the buildings behind it. You actually see the buildings getting miraged out. But I've climbed up a couple of steps, and now you can see part of the boat. You can see just the very top of the hull there, this massive inferior mirage, and the rest of the boat is behind this inferior mirage. Absolutely crazy.
Nice.
And I should have no issue seeing this boat on any model, you know, because when I'm at the top, I'm about 30 feet above sea level. So when I'm filming this, right at the start here, I'm about 30 feet above sea level right now when I'm filming this. And this boat is only about 9 miles away. 8, 9 miles away. 9 miles at most, more likely about 7.5, because there's a route that they come in on Google Earth. I might have it up actually. So on Google Earth, obviously, you've got to watch for the topography of the land. So they basically follow the same route in and the same route out all the way. So roughly it's about this location here. And it's only like 7.5 miles away from where I'm filming, 30 feet above sea level. Just crazy. I might show you a bit of the other clip actually. I've just titled it UG. And it's a very, very long time-lapse video. So I've actually started on the buildings, and you can see where they're where they're starting to mirage back on themselves, and you can't see the sand dune underneath. You can't see the bottom of the buildings or anything. They're all blended out behind this inferior mirage. But look at the water, Anthony.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
I can. It
gets more prominent in a bit, but you can actually see the inferior mirage overlapping the water, or it could be a Fata Brumosa. I haven't decided. I can't work out which one it is yet. It's one or the other. And basically, I do this entire time lapse, and I'm filming it at a different state. And look at this. Look at the building disappear over here. This one.
They go and come. Yeah.
So watch this. This is where I started off, and then I'm filming it. It's going, and it's vanished.
Oh shit! The buildings went behind the curve.
And look at this. Look at the crazy atmospherics going on with the water, where you got it's either a Fata Brumosa or an inferior mirage hiding, lapping down on it. I think
it's not a Fata Brumosa. A Fata Brumosa reflects the water above it.
Yeah.
So
you can see the sky, and then you see the water. Look at this. I mean, it's absolutely crazy.
Well, we all know that Nathan would say that that's directly down to the viewing angle, the limited viewing angle, which may well be. I'm not saying it's not, but I agree with Ranty. I think there's more to it than that.
So I thought this would be a very cool video to just release, because at this time, when I'm filming this now, that boat sneaks in front of me. The boat actually sneaks in front of me. So what I do is I'll come to the end of the video. I finish what I'm doing. I show you where I've just filmed from, just at the very end. I just say, there I was. And then I go to the top of the steps, and I see the boat in the distance, and I'm like, this was this video, and I'm like, hey, where did that come from? You can hear me talking. Yeah. How did that sneak in? How did that sneak in behind the inferior mirage? It must have passed in front of the video, in front of the buildings as it's heading in. And I'm like, but how did it sneak in? I never saw it on that video. So the entire boat sneaked in front of me, in front of these buildings here, without me seeing it, hidden behind the inferior mirage.
It is cool, that.
It is cool. So that video is getting...
and you can still see your buildings in the background.
Yeah.
And this is just a few foot difference, right? Like what, 4 foot?
I
mean, from the step down when you did the first video, and then you went up and zoom in again.
Sorry, what did you? I forgot what you.
The first video where you show the building disappearing, it was really lower, in the lower steps, and then you zoom out and you went up a few steps to zoom in again.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I literally have the tripod set on a step, and as the tide pushes in over a period of like 50 minutes or so, you see that inferior mirage just start to blend out the entire buildings in the background. Obviously, it's to do with the water rising up, obviously, because it's getting higher. But the inferior mirage is always a set amount, or it's on this particular day, it was a set amount above the water at all times. And as soon as I finished because I've had flu for like a week and a half now, and I was down there, I was freezing my nuts off, I was coughing my guts up, and I just needed to get in the car. So I packed up immediately, went straight up to the top of the steps, threw the camera in the car, turned the engine on, looked over, and I saw the boat, and I was like, "Wait, where's that boat come from?" And because it was going so slow, it was obviously taking about probably 10 minutes to have traversed from the position that I was filming the buildings from to its position when I was filming it. And I thought, well, that must have meant that it must have passed directly through the line of sight from the time-lapse video that I was doing down at the bottom. And that's when I started. So I obviously got the camera back out again and then started filming again, and did some up and down on the steps to show you the different stages of the boat. So I'm going to release the time-lapse video just to give you just to have it released. I think it'd be quite nice as a backdrop to play in the background. And then I'll release the other video probably tomorrow about the boat with me going nuts, because I'm literally going nuts on the video. I can't believe it, that the boat, this entire boat snuck under my vision inside the inferior Mirage at like 7.5 miles away. Crazy.
I think it's appropriate. Don't worry about that 1 week flu that you had, because the Rumpus have one for like 7 months.
7 months?
That's what he said. That's why he never finished the presentation, because he's under the weather. He got the flu. Motherfucker.
Flat Earth Perth says if someone was standing on the other side holding the mirror, you'll see the sun flash through the layer, providing it's just atmospheric effect. So you know where you've got to go then, Anthony.
Like, fuck, it's too far away.
It's not. You could do it on your way back from St. Bees.
It's still miles out of the way.
Or if we have anyone that actually lives in Barrow in Furness, anyone in the chat that would be willing to do that, I'd go and film it for sure.
Who else has got a cough?
Me. I've been dying for the last 2 weeks nearly.
It's fucking murder.
It's weird. The last 2 times that I've been ill, it's when I've been to Scotland, and I've got like this Scottish flu. So they must have different flus up there. It must be superior flus to what we get down here, because the 2 times that I've got ill, I feel like death.
Yeah. So what we'll have to do, we need to rally up the troops against this this observation from Pikes Peak, because it kills the ball, absolutely kills the ball. They can't explain it on a ball. All they can do is attack. They can't defend.
Did he actually give a concise reason as to why the observation is more of a ball Earth proof than a flat Earth proof?
Who, Conspiracy Cats?
Yeah.
He tried to explain that there was missing land, but there's not missing. What he did was he, because he was using the elevation, the total elevation of the mountain, he's asking where the rest of the mountain is. Well, the rest of the mountain is because you've used the wrong value in the first place. It's your own error that's creating a perception, and he's dishonest. He knows that this is wrong, but he's doing it anyway. That's why I called him out on it, and he's still trying to defend his position. But he actually said to me, he said, his words were words to the effect of, "Well, this video is only going to get 1,000 views." Oh no, he said it won't even get 1,000 views. Basically, it doesn't matter if you're right, or words to that effect. And I'm like, oh, really? Okay, so let's see what happens then. He's relying on his own video. He's relying on his own, I don't know what the word is, bullshitness. You know, I don't know what the word is to describe this
dishonesty.
Yeah, his own popularity. This claim of what's the word I'm looking for? This apparent popularity of late. He's relying on that no one sees it. And I'm like, nah, I'm not having that. So I've got to watch out for the ballers now. Watch out for the ballers going live, and I'm going to be knocking on the door saying, right, let me in. Explain this on a ball.
I'll keep an eye. I mean, I'm subscribed to like all of them, and every time they throw a live hangouts or videos, I get the notifications, and I'll check in for a little bit.
I can guarantee I'll be getting blocked or refused access onto the panel.
I'll let you guys know whenever there's something going on. Yeah, I gotta get out of here. I got some stuff to do around. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, and keep it going. Keep hammering and poking them, man. They gotta explain this in an honest way and stop fudging the numbers. Just do it right, you know.
Yeah.
I see you all, guys. Thank you. I keep
Dude.
listening on the side.
Later, Jose.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, I just thought I'd fill in some time as well while seeing Nathan hasn't gone live today. It's 3.
Let me just respond to Flat Earth Perth. I said, have you seen this video about Pikes Peak? He said, yes, Anthony, and I've read all of the Metabunk debunk. It has merit, but would prefer he films it further back so the whole peak should be missing instead of arguing about the top 2,000 feet. Flat Earth Perth, none of that mountain should be seen. I don't know what you're referring to there, but none of that mountain should be seen. None of it. So if someone's arguing about 2,000 feet, they've got something wrong. Maybe you know more than I do, but perhaps if you could put it in writing so that we know what you're talking about. Ranty, when I filmed the Swan River, I was surprised when our torch went straight through the distortion layer. It's not a real layer, only an optical effect. It is, but Flat Earth Perth, that whole mountain should be missing, should not be seen. So I'm not sure why you think there's 2,000 feet in it. I don't know what's going on. Barley Warrior says it's been debunked. No, it hasn't, you dickhead. I'm going to time you out for saying such a silly comment there. All right, put user in timeout. Barley Warrior, see you in 300. Mick West's comments. Well, these are lying sack of shit anyway. Have you got a reference for it? I'd like to see what he actually says.
Who, Mick West? He thinks he's debunked this observation.
Yeah, can you give him a link? Can you give him a spanner so that he can post links?
Who?
Flat Earth Perth.
Has he not got a link? He's not mad, is he?
Yeah, Flat Earth Perth, none of that mountain should be seen. Not if you do the proper maths on it, honestly, legitimately, none of it should be seen. It's missing by like 2.5 times of its height.
I'm surprised Mick West is still going. He's been debunked that many times.
Yeah. Problem is the new people that come to it don't know that. Oh. Ranty, would you be interested in helping me do a video re Aristarchus?
Yeah.
Do you know what, Pete? I couldn't think of anything more boring.
No, I'd be interested.
Yeah, but he's never explained his position other than making the statement.
Here we go. We've got a link. Let's have a look.
Yeah, let's have a little look. Right, is this the beginning, this?
Here we go. So Mick West has literally said he's not wrong. If there's nothing below 5,000 feet between the viewer and the target, then you can effectively say 5,000 feet is at sea level. That's correct. So if you're assuming that that's sea level, you knock the 5,000 feet off the total height above sea level of the mountain, and then you're able to get a hidden value which doesn't match the globe at all.
From that video, here's a fit to the flat Earth view. No, dickhead. Where's the curve? Show it right to the curve.
So they're doing it against what it should look on a flat Earth. They're not addressing what you should see on a globe Earth.
No, what he's doing there. Yeah, he's right. He's not addressing where the curve is. Right, there's still 3,000 meters of curvature on a 1,700 meter mountain. I'm just scanning through what's being said. Yeah, they're not addressing where the curve is. None of them are. How old is these? These are all in the last couple of days. In the last week or so.
I'm going to show you what you should see on a globe. You ready, Anthony?
Yeah.
This is what you should see. There we go.
Fuck all.
That's what you should see. That's it. Never mind what we should see on a flat Earth. This is what we should see on a globe Earth. This is it.
Chocolate. Yeah. These guys are all liars. Scumbags. Showed a curve relative to the mountain. Let's not talk about what it should look like on a flat plane. Let's talk about what it should look like on the ball.
But that's what they do. They won't address. So yeah, so flat Earth Perth, yeah, correct. Mick West acknowledges the 5,000 feet is correct. Well, yeah, anybody using a reasonable sense of logic would agree the same, except that people like conspiracy cats will keep on trying to push you to say that his height above sea level is 1,600 meters, which is incorrect. And of course, when he's put that out there, he's obviously put that comment in. There's no going back from that, because once you do that and then you apply the ball Earth bullshit, you realize that that mountain should be gone. So what they refer back to, then they go and say, well, okay, so we shouldn't see the mountain then on the globe. Well, let's see what it would look like on a flat Earth. And then they just talk about the flat Earth, don't they?
Watching the Liverpool-Newcastle match.
Right, might be.
Liverpool the 1-0 up. Get in there. Fantastic volley from Lovren. Get in. Woohoo!
Right, well, in that case, then it might be a good time to knock the stream on the head then for a bit.
Yeah, man. Rick, I shall catch you later.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for stopping by, Anthony. And a few shout-outs in chat. Chucky, Anders A's, John Watson, Pete Shea. Who else do we have? We've got David Reed, Flat Earth Perth.
Oh.
Right,
dude, I'll catch you later.
Yeah, catch you in a bit.
Ta-ra. See you later, chat.
FE Viking, nice to see you in, mate. Shane Walter, Cosmic Surfer. Yep. Thanks for everybody for stopping by. Just a bit of a putting our heads together and a bit of a chat about that conspiracy cats and how he's essentially selling his soul for clicks and cash. And I think that's what we'll leave it on right now. Anyway, cheers, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.